Well, now it's time for the fun to begin. From the first baseball game against Stetson in 1891 to the 21 teams that currently play on campus, Rollins Athletics has a rich history that spans more than 130 years, with thousands of student athletes having competed. The Tars have had multitudes of success over the years, including 23 team national championships, more than a dozen individual national championships, and 97 Sunshine State Conference championships. Woohoo! Yeah. It is my honor to serve as the Associate Vice President of Athletics and oversee the continued success of the Tars athletics that started more than a century ago. Tonight is a historic celebration for Rollins as we honor an incredible group for their excellence on the field. Our inductees achieved the highest accolades while playing and coaching, and I am pleased to give them one more opportunity to be recognized as a thank you for their efforts. Your hard work serves as the foundation for the success of our more than 500 current student athletes. Thank you for representing the college in the best way possible. Now, without further ado, we will begin our ceremony.
To get us started this evening, please join me in welcoming four-year women's soccer letter winner and 2024 Rollins Sports Hall of Fame inductee, Brenna McKee.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. It's an honor to be here with you tonight as we celebrate this wonderful cohort of student athletes and my dear friend, Anita Cox, a person who brings light, laughter, and leadership everywhere she goes. If you know Anita, you know that a good time follows her like a shadow. When she walks into a room, a joke and a laugh are never far behind. But if you're really lucky, you'll get to see what lies beneath that infectious energy. A deep commitment to helping others, mentoring them, and doing her absolute best at all times. Above all, Anita is a natural leader, someone who cares deeply about doing good and being the best version of herself. We met here at Rollins 15 years ago, if you can believe that. On the soccer field, she was a force to be reckoned with, a captain who led the team and a gritty defender everyone, including me, hated to go up against. Her contributions to the Rollins community didn't end at women's soccer. Off the field, she was a mentor, a friend to many, involved in many student organizations, and a high-achieving student, not to mention always the life of the party. One of the best things about friends we make when we're young is getting to watch someone grow into who they're meant to be. As Anita has matured, she's held on to what makes her extraordinary, the drive to help others, to do her best, and to leave things better than she found them. I've been lucky enough to witness that journey up close. As her friend, I've benefited from her wisdom, her humor, and her unwavering support. She's helped shape so much of who I am, and I know that I'm not the only one who can say that. Today, as we honor her, I can't help but think of how proud her parents would be, although, let's be honest, Jason would find a way to make a joke at your expense. Anita, you've always led with heart, passion, and a commitment to making a difference. Rollins is better because of you, your teammates are better because of you, and I'm better because of you. Tonight, we celebrate not just the athlete, not just the student, but the person, the one who makes everyone around her want to work a little harder and laugh a little louder. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to welcome my dear friend, a true leader, and now a Hall of Famer, Anita Cox.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oops, sorry, I got to.
Yeah? Okay.
Gotcha.
Thank you. Oh. Well, first of all, I was really hoping that I wasn't going to be the first one to have to do this. So you're welcome, other inductees. Brenna, what a full circle moment. Tonight is extremely special for me for a multitude of reasons. I think, and I would love to describe myself, and it maybe went on for too long, as like Mrs. Rollins. Like, I was very much obsessed with this place in every capacity I could be. And I think it's a big reason for that is just how the journey started, right? Like, how does a kid from West London who doesn't have a ton, had a parent who passed away when I was a teenager, with my stepdad, who is a diehard West Ham United supporter, and if you know anything about the Premier League, they're probably one of the worst teams ever. And so I have to watch this team play every single weekend, and ultimately decided that I really, really want to bond with him. It's just me and him. I'm an only child. Let's do it. Let's get into it. And so he was left-footed. I was right-footed. I'll leave it there for those who know the joke on that. But you'll never catch me playing on the left side of the field, basically. And ultimately, it stemmed into the most beautiful relationship I've ever had in my entire life. My dad was my world. And I'm really, really happy he was able to come out here my senior night and watch me play. So he turned into Mr. Rollins with the 2 shirts that I bought at the bookstore for him. He would wear every weekend. So ultimately, this place really became a home for me, right? I'm from London. None of my family are here, but I'm here with a team that became my family. Very, very different team. The classes were large, diverse ages within them. And ultimately, my final year, I had to wrangle all of those ages, those people together and try and lead them. Ultimately, when I think about like my success here at Rollins, I'm like, I really was not the best player. When you think about talent and the bangers that Brenna used to score and the dramatic saves that Michelle used to make, like that wasn't me. I was just out here directing the team, almost like the conductor. And what that takes is understanding the people on your team, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and then ultimately just pretending to be very, very scary and asserting that authority, which I did. And because of that, we were able to win, to reach new heights. We beat West Florida. We were just talking about this at the table. If you know anything about them, they had like 2 Olympic Usain Bolt forwards, and I had to mark them. So I was like, I remember that game because I was dying, okay? And then we progressed as a team. We end up getting the shutout record for those that don't know, I will tell you. No goals scored on us, okay? No goals in the nation, right? And we're just a little D2 school here in Florida. But the people here are what makes it special. It's the reason why I keep coming back. You've got the golf coach, the women's golf coach, who will be at every single athletic event, cheering on everybody like her life depends on it, right? Okay, all right, calm down. You've got all the student athletes who become best friends and they room with each other and they're there at their, graduations across the country for babies being born. For those moments like that, you've got, campus security who then end up being your best friend and yelling 14 every single training session that you have in the middle of campus, right? You've got your CMC teachers who you haven't spoken to, business teachers you haven't spoken to in 14 years, reaching out to you somehow. I've tried to fall off the grid, finding inboxes saying, you're going to the Hall of Fame. That is amazing. I remember when you got here. And when I got here, I was actually a transfer student. I only played 3 years here. So it is really an honor to be able to receive this and be among the greats. But I started at I'm not even going to talk about the school, but I started at another school in Kentucky. So London girl moving to Kentucky. We won't speak about that. That was crazy. Was there for a year, D1. It was good. It was great. And along the way, realizing not need to be there, somebody brings up Rollins College. And I was like, what is Rollins College? And somebody who knew, they were like, no, you need to go. It's like a country club. You're going to love it. Go, go, go. So I came on my visit. In the spring, they were playing, and I ended up jumping into a practice. And if this needs to be like the Oscars and you have to play the music to get me off, just let me know, okay? Played in, and I just felt so comfortable, right? Like, obviously, you're going to be comfortable on this campus, right? But I just felt comfortable with the girls. They were so kind. All of them were exceptionally talented, and they were just a hard-working team. And that's what I was. I wanted to work hard all the time. I didn't want anyone to pass me. Brenna was somebody I had to mark all the time. And so while we were best friends, there were also many practices that we did not speak to each other afterwards. But ultimately, we were all going for the same goal. And it's a goal that I'm extremely proud of. I think that we did exceptionally well. We continue to do so. Alicia is still here holding it down. Coach of the Year my first year. Thank you for the belief that you had in me. To everybody in this room, and you know who you are, who helped me when I didn't have a phone, when I couldn't pay for whatever it was. I just thank you. It's meant a lot to me. And I just want to say that I'm happy to receive this in honor of my dad. So, rest in peace. Thank you.
Next up, please welcome to the stage the 6-time national champion head coach of Rollins Women's Golf, Julie Garner.
I didn't hit one shot in those 6 championships. I just want everybody to know. So I'm not going to take credit for that. I drive the bus and I pay the Starbucks bill, and that's about it. But it's such an honor to be here tonight to have 2 of our former players, well, actually 3 of our former players. One, I didn't coach Hollis Stacy. I want everybody to know that. I mean, I am 157 years old, but, you know, she was a little bit before my time. But I want to talk about Sunshine, Annie Dulman. So I nicknamed her Sunshine. And I have a nickname for Hally, too, which we'll get to later. But so it all started. I played SEC golf against her mom. Her mom played at University of Kentucky, and I played at University of Alabama. And so we had a lot of mutual friends, and I remember her from playing college golf. And I got about, 27 emails and phone calls and whatever. You got to check out Annie Dulman. You got to check out Annie Dulman. I'm like, all right, and how many coaches out here, I mean, we get a lot of these solicitations over the years. I'm like, all right, I'll go check out Annie Dulman, okay, whatever. So I went and watched her play. The one thing that struck me about her was, so in golf, if you watch any high-level women's amateur or professional tournaments, when they finish the round, they all lean in. They're like, oh, nice playing with you. And they give you the one-arm lean-in hug like this. Annie Dulman gives everybody a bear hug like she'll never see them again, and they were her very best friends and all of that. And I just remember thinking, boy, that's pretty cool, that somebody could hug you and mean it. And I can tell you that Annie would hug you and mean it. Obviously, she's an All-American. She was a Player of the Year. I mean, I won't go on and on about, all that she's accomplished because it was a lot. But I mean, one of the biggest things that she does is she's instrumental in Hally, Leadbetter transferring from, where she came from to Rollins, which was a huge thing for us. And it was the kind of the missing piece in the puzzle for us to win the championship in 2016. Everybody's heard of the 6 degrees of separation. Everybody's heard that term. There's 0 degrees of separation with Annie, because I don't care who she meets or who she plays with or whatever, somehow like her it's either a double cousin or her mom's high school friend's first boyfriend's sister, and if you were, I mean, if you're from Palm Beach, if you're from West Virginia, if you're from New York, if you're from Lebanon, the Mediterranean, whatever, Annie knows somebody that knows you. So, which, again, just shows her just congeniality and just her effusiveness, which was, again, why I called her Sunshine. She also, here's a fun fact, she knows the lyrics to every Broadway musical ever written. So I'm sure we could have her come up here and do, some a cappella things. But that was also a great thing to know about her, is she one of the things, so she just lost her grandmother, unfortunately, and I met Phyllis, and Phyllis was a huge force of nature, and you know, the ties run deep, and I mean, I was afraid of Phyllis. I think I even wrote Phyllis a letter, you know, when we were recruiting Annie. I was like, okay, don't worry, we're going to take good care of her. Don't worry, you know. But unfortunately, Phyllis just passed away recently. But she was able to see all of the accomplishments that Annie has made over the years, and I think that's a huge thing too. Which I love that, you know, that Phyllis was able to appreciate all of that. I will also say that Annie took a huge leap of faith and moved out to Los Angeles to pursue her dream, you know, of being part of, you know, the whole Hollywood productions, and you know, I mean, the group that she works with. Has everybody seen Wicked? Oh my gosh, what a great! I watched it just the other day, and I sent her about 1,000 texts. I'm like, wow, no wonder you're proud of what you do, because that was just really an awesome thing, and her group was part of that. So I'm so proud. I mean, not just, and I think this is what makes Rollins so special, right? Is it really helps you find your passion, find and pursue your passion, and there's nothing that a school can do more for you than that. And I am so proud of what Rollins provided for Annie to do that, and she lives out in LA now and is working with the Universal Group, and I just think that was so great that she took a leap of faith and moved out there and is just doing great things now, and obviously she did great things here, and we're certainly thrilled for that, but she was a huge part of why we won the national championship in 2016, and you know, it's a championship mentality, and she was a big part of that, and I'm honored to introduce Annie Dulman as in the 2025 class Hall of Fame.
Sorry, that was a lot. Thank you, Coach, for your kind and gracious, over-the-top words. This is very special. Okay, good evening, everyone. It's an extraordinary honor to be invited here tonight, to be back in Winter Park, and I'm so grateful to be in this room as we celebrate this Hall of Fame class and recognize their contributions to this amazing place. Thank you so much to Penny, to Phil and Jessica for pulling off this lovely celebration tonight. To the Cornwells, congratulations on your retirement. I can't thank you all enough for your endless support of our women's golf program and all that you've done to provide Coach Julie with the support and the resources to usher Rollins into the future. To begin, I'd like to congratulate my fellow inductees, some of whom I'm meeting for the first time tonight, and others who I've had the pleasure of knowing for many years now, namely Anita, Hally, and Tyler. It's so special to be sharing this evening with three of my dear friends. So I'd like to take this moment to publicly congratulate each of them. Hally, we have been through so much together as teammates and as friends. Also, this is my dearest friend, so for context, I'm so proud of what we've accomplished in leading this team, pushing each other to succeed together, and I wouldn't be standing here today without you. So what you've gone on to accomplish in your career is only the beginning, and I'm so proud of every single day and so grateful for our friendship of 15 plus years. Congratulations. Anita, when I learned you were going to be part of this Hall of Fame class together with all of us, I was probably the most thrilled for you because you deserve it. I cannot truly think of someone who is more deserving of this as an athlete, as a person. You are the embodiment of a leader both on and off the pitch. And having looked up to you my entire career as an athlete at Rollins, you were and are truly a brilliant example of football excellence. So much talent, so much charisma. I so looked forward to watching you play every week. You are a force of nature. Congratulations. And Tyler, you and I once spoke about getting to this very day many years ago, to know that maybe what we achieved in our respective careers would lead us to this moment, to be cemented in our respective teams' legacies. And for those who don't know, and we'll hear about this later as well, Tyler, along with her amazing twin sister Taylor, were these rock stars of the women's lacrosse team. We lived only a few doors down from each other as freshmen in Ward Hall, second floor. And we very quickly became great friends and later roommates during our time here at Rollins. And some of my favorite memories outside of golf were spent with Tay, and her amazing parents. And I ran into Mr. Thomas at breakfast this morning, and we spoke about this, but one of the kindest gestures I've been the recipient of in my life, outside of course, my family, was when the Thomases planned the surprise trip to Denver, Colorado in 2016 to spectate and watch our team win a national championship, because that meant so much to me, and because no one came to watch us play ever. Like the amount, like, and Anita attested to this earlier, like the amount of soccer games that we went to, the lacrosse games, the baseball games, basketball games, like no one came to watch us play ever. And so to have the Thomases there meant the world to me. You know, apart from our families who always came to watch us play. So for them to travel that distance on that week of all weeks, to this day, I can't possibly be more grateful for their friendship, their love, their support. It truly meant the world to me to have you guys there that week. So congrats, Ty, thank you. There are a couple of people who I'd like to thank who aren't here tonight, but who were a brilliant guiding light for me as I made my way through my career at Rollins. Two of those are alumni of our program, Charlotte Campbell and Joanna Coe, who during my time here, Coach had always spoken so highly of Charlotte and Joby as the contemporary benchmarks of excellence for this program, especially in the post sort of 2000 era. So after having joined their company as Players of the Year and national champions, I feel more fortunate now to be in their shared company once again as Hall of Fame members. So thank you to Charlotte and Joby from afar for setting the bar so high. In my 4 years here, I had 16 teammates. I won't name all of them. I won't do that to everyone, but I have their names all written here, and it would be a little crazy if I read all of them, I think. But I'm staring at them, and I'm truly grateful to have been surrounded by such strong women, and along with our amazing coaching staff. And we had so many faculty supporters and cheerleaders here at Rollins. Two of them are here tonight, the Davisons. Yes. I was a proud member of the political science department, famously one of the most difficult departments at the school. Thanks to them for making it so difficult. It was so awful. But I loved it, and I will never forget my time in their classes. So thank you both so much for being here. I didn't know they were going to be here tonight, so I scribbled their names in. Okay. And to my family who's here tonight, Mom, Michael, Julie, and my 4-month-old nephew, Charles, and to my dad and brother-in-law who weren't able to make it here tonight, but who are watching from afar, thank you so much for all the sacrifices you've made for me in order for this to have all been possible. Michael and Julie, Julie left with the baby. Okay, she's over there. Oh, hi, Julie. Okay. Without much reciprocation from me, you allowed me to take up an absurd amount of time and space in our family because this sport demanded it for so many years. And so while it was never something either of you signed up for, I'm so grateful to both of you for your support and patience through this entire journey. To my parents, none of this would have been possible if golf is the single greatest gift you've given me. Literally and figuratively for, putting a golf club in my hand when I was 0 months old. And to my mom, before I knew what was good for me, but to my mom for the truly countless hours you spent with me as my teacher, Thank you for enduring what I'm sure were many years of pain, suffering, but in the end, hopefully, mostly joy. This is an honor that is as much yours as it is mine. So I share this extraordinary moment with you. And finally, Coach, one of the most prolific of college golf coaches across any division, both men's and women's NCAA golf. None of this team, this program would exist today without you. It is an honor and a privilege to have been on your team across all sports. Penny mentioned it earlier. There are 23 national championships at this school. 13 of those belong to the women's golf program, and 6 of those belong to Coach. So it's unbelievable. I'm so grateful for your mentorship, for your friendship, and your belief in me from the beginning. And as Coach mentioned, about 15 years ago, she essentially plucked me out of obscurity and saw something in me before anyone else knew it. She played the long game and invested so much time in me in my early days as a junior golfer, with the amount of recruiting trips she made, the miles that she racked up on her silver Chevy Malibu. Yeah, may she rest. Coach made sure to let me know my worth from the start, and it was astonishing to witness her dedication. She never let me forget my value because she believed in me from the very beginning before anyone else had. And they only did when the door was slamming shut on my junior career. So Coach was there from the beginning. And so it's that belief that drove me to work as hard as I could to help our team win a national championship for her and for Rollins. And I'm so glad we did for so many reasons, but I don't want to think about if we hadn't, because I don't think I would have forgiven myself if that were the case. And so thanks to our pure stubbornness and refusal to fail, we accomplished that goal together in 2016. And so I admittedly had long let go of this era of my life that focused on golf and have made peace with that in so many ways. But this evening is a lovely epilogue of sorts, or depending on which way you look at it, like a final nail in the coffin of like a career, because nothing says washed up like a Hall of Fame induction for me personally. I'm so honored though to be part of the fabric of this storied program, and to be forever cemented in the legacy of Rollins women's golf. So thank you so much again, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Introducing our next inductee is 4-year Rollins letter winner and 2007 All-SSC third baseman, Gary Martaccio.
And so to follow a 6-time national champion presenter and another Hall of Famer, I'm Gary. I was second team All-SEC once, so. Oh man, it's so special to be back here and see so many former teammates, coaches, and friends, parents. Rollins and Winter Park is really a special place. I had the privilege of being a teammate and a close friend of Gene Howard for 4 years, and it's an absolute honor and privilege to introduce him into the Hall of Fame. So Gene, in 2008, had a .426 batting average. That's the highest batting average in a single season in Rollins history. His career batting average was .379, which is absolutely insane for anybody that knows baseball. But what's even crazier is Gene was probably a better pitcher than a hitter. And a lot of the older guys here that played him before us, they knew him as a pitcher, the team's closer. He was basically the college version of Shohei Ohtani. And he had an incredible freshman season on the mound. He was the team's closer, helped the team go to the College World Series. That 2004 team was really special, and he was a big part of it. He had a mid-90s fastball, 12.6 curveball. He was basically unhittable. And heading into Gene's sophomore year, he was almost a sure thing to get drafted into the big leagues as a pitcher. Unfortunately, his shoulder had some different ideas. He ran into some arm problems that persisted over the next few years, and that forced him to eventually give up pitching and focus on his career as a position player, which was obviously super disappointing. was disappointing for him. It was disappointing for us as his teammates. But, what was really admirable and incredible was Gene never let his arm troubles get him down or bring the team down, never showed any frustration or sadness. And all he did was go on to become one of the best hitters in the country and in Rollins history. What probably was more impressive than seeing him transition from a two-way player to a full-time position player was how dedicated he was to becoming a defensive player. His last 3 years at Rollins, he was our third baseman. The year that I was all SEC was the year that he had his medical red shirt at third base. But so yeah, sorry for the confusion. I had this written down and I forgot that I played third that 1 year. But basically, Gene was our third baseman his last 3 years at Rollins, and I don't think he'd ever played that position until college. And it was really awesome to see, him take such pride in his defense, learning the position, and his work ethic was incredible. He was always the first guy out there taking ground balls, hitting off the tee, and he was just such a selfless team-first guy. And if I could sum up his playing career in a couple words, it would just be the ultimate ball player. He could play any position on the field. He did the little things. He was a great bunter. He was even a great base runner for as slow as he was. But honestly, Gene and I were talking the other day, and we're just kind of trying to reminisce about some specific games or at-bats or moments in advance of tonight, and we had some trouble. It's been 17 years since we played here, and unfortunately, we're so old that Rollins didn't even stream games on its website when we were here. So we didn't have the benefit of going back and watching video of our games in the archives that some of you might. Luke and Bowden, you got to take our word for it. Your dad was pretty good. We've got some pictures. But if you would ask me, though, when I was playing, if I would ever forget about a game or an at-bat, it would be crazy, because at that time I could go back and look at every box score and tell you what I did that game, what Gene did that game, what everybody else did that game, because we were just so entrenched in it. And I never thought I would actually forget those things, but kind of dawned on me from there, like, as time goes on, individual stats and box scores kind of become more and more meaningless. And, while Gene's stats jump off the page at you and are the reason he's about to enter the Hall of Fame, what stands out the most to me about Gene is how great of a teammate he was and how he treated people. That's something that I do have a vivid memory of, and that's never faded from my mind over time. Gene was the ultimate team-first guy, so much that talking about his personal achievements literally makes him physically uncomfortable. So don't worry, Gene, I'll be done soon. I know this is super awkward for you. But no, truly, you're the most loyal teammate and leader, and always made everyone around you feel special and confident. You always made people a better player and a better person. You always found a way to give people that extra confidence that they needed at times in such a mental game. And feel like there's probably 20 guys that you played with over the years that consider you one of their best friends to this day, and that's something that means more than any stat sheet can capture. And those are the same qualities that made you a great player and teammate are what's made you a great father and husband and son and brother, and that's been really cool to watch over the years. And that's about it. With all that said, it's my absolute pleasure to introduce into the Class of 2025 Hall of Fame the man that's the epitome of what a ball player and teammate should be, Gene Howard.
Just say something real quick. So I did go to school with Charlotte Campbell. Never go hit golf balls in the driving range with her, because she was absolutely fantastic. I thought I was good at golf, but you can't start when you're 25. So God almighty. Anyways, so Gary, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it. I really do. So hope everybody's doing good tonight. And congratulations to all the other nominees. You're all well-deserved, and it's a really cool honor to be here. I typically like to keep a 5 o'clock shadow here. I don't shave that much, but I heard Coach Rikeman was here. So I'm too old to run anymore, so I figured I'd shave tonight. So honestly, when I got word I was being inducted in the Hall of Fame, I was honestly extremely excited. As a competitive person, it's like pretty much the last achievement if you don't play professionally or anything like that. It's, in my opinion, the last achievement that you can, or accolade that you can have in your career. So I hope that makes sense to everybody. So I was honestly really emotional when I got it. So I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee. It was honestly a big honor in my life. So thank you very much. Sorry, I'm not going to be long here. It's funny. So for everybody out here, I'm in meetings a lot, 5 to 10, 12 people. I am horrible at public speaking, so I just want everybody to know that. Meetings, I'm great. So just want everybody to know that. But Rollins does hold a very, special place in my heart, especially Winter Park as well. Some of the best times in my life were spent here, whether on campus or on the baseball field or whatever. I think about it all the time. And I really did have fun with all the guys and all the girls that I met here. It was, honest to God, the best. I had 5 years because I redshirted a year. But I had a great time here, and it was a very special place. So going to thank a few people here. First, my mom, Christine, who's in the back here, for everything she's done for me in my life. And beyond being a great mom, no offense to all the guys in the back here, she's the best baseball player in this room this evening. I guarantee that. So she taught me all I knew about baseball, how to field a grounder, how to hit off a tee, how to do anything. And also, more importantly, how to be a good person on and off the field. So I know you know this, Ma, but I appreciate it and I love you. So my beautiful wife, Lauren, who actually I met at Rollins. Unfortunately for you, you met me. We got married at Knowles Memorial Chapel. Seems like 100 years ago now, but no offense. I'm only kidding. And our two lovely boys we have, Bowden and Lukey, love you guys. I'm sure my dad would be proud if he could have been here. Unfortunately, I'm sure he's around somewhere enjoying this moment. My brother Justin, who's actually, and his wife Amy, I'm sorry. I appreciate you guys coming. And my brother Justin's actually the reason I came to Rollins, which is a funny story, kind of. So he played at UMass Amherst, and he was friends. He played for Coach Rikeman, where's Rike? Is he in here somewhere? Here he is. So he played for Coach Rikeman, and I was going to go to a couple schools up north, and Justin, my older brother, is like, hey, why don't you take a visit down to Rollins? I'm like, I don't want to play Division II. I'm a big Division I guy, whatever. So he's like, just take a look. So I get picked up at the airport by a couple guys. They take me, we go to lunch. We get lunch in the cafeteria, and we go sit outside. And I didn't know that at a college that you sat outside next to a pool on a lake. I thought that was like for vacation. So I was like, Jesus. I get into Reich's office, and I'm like, where do we sign up? Like, I don't know what else to do here. So from that moment on, I knew I wanted to come to Rollins. It was a beautiful place. I mean, talk about a campus. It's fantastic. So I want to thank the rest of my family for coming, my Aunt Linda and John. My older brothers, they couldn't be here. To all my friends and other family that came, it really means a lot. I appreciate it. Obviously, to the Alumni Association, again, it truly means a lot to be inducted in the Hall of Fame, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. It's fantastic. And it's probably one of the best accomplishments of my life, either professionally, personally, athletically, whatever. Doesn't matter. I really mean that. So thank you very much. All the faculty staff, the training staff, everybody that keeps this place looking beautiful, 24/7, 365. It's a beautiful place to go to school. All my teachers, they had me for 5 years as a very so-so student. I appreciate that. Joan Davis, I had you a couple times. Mr. Davis, I had you a couple times as well. I don't know. I had to go to oh my God, where May Thatchett, I think, student, I was on, yeah, I was on academic probation. She's the best. Yeah. All right. So I'll finish this up. So, Coach Rikeman, I just want to say congratulations on your inauguration to the Hall of Fame, man. It's very deserving, and I'm really happy for you, buddy. I just want to thank you as well for the opportunity to also, come to Rollins. You're a great friend, a great coach, and I think every person in this room that's played with you really looks up to you and feels the same way. So I appreciate it again. So in 2004, I came here in 2003, obviously, but in 2004, we went to the College World Series, which was a blast. We couldn't lose a game. We had a group of guys from, seniors to freshmen that all contributed. It was awesome. We were in the paper, we were in the news, we were winning games. We had walk-off home runs and like late inning wins. We had guys riding motorcycles around the friggin' outfield. It was unbelievable. And it was just such a great year that it's something that I'll live with for the rest or remember for the rest of my life as like one of the best years of my life. And I really appreciate that, guys. And a lot of you in the audience tonight. We went to the College World Series in 2004, and I was horrible. But the funny thing is that we actually got beat by a team from up north. It was Bryant, and the guy that coached them was a guy named John Sjogren, which some of you may know here. And then when Sjogren came to Rollins, I didn't know how things would play out, if I was going to play, if he was going to rejigger things or move guys around or whatever. When he came to the program, he gave me a lot of, responsibility and a lot of, I wouldn't say authority, but, just as an older guy now, he really he leaned on me and I leaned on him, and we kind of went back and forth and, formed a great relationship. And we didn't win too many games for him, I'll tell you that. But we did our best and honored my scholarship, which is of main importance to me. So I appreciate that, Coach, if you're around somewhere. Where is he? But he's obviously continued the program, and they've been, on fire since. So keep up the good work. And, Coach, I appreciate it. Thanks, man. I'll wrap up here shortly, I promise. There's one other person that I honestly need to personally thank, and this is from a playing perspective. So we used to have a guy named Winston Short, Winnie. And gets sad a little. So Winnie, I played third base. I wasn't that great. But Winnie was our groundskeeper. And he used to meticulously manicure third base so I wouldn't get a bad hop. And when I tell you, he would wet the ground so I would never get a bad hop. If someone hit a rocket down third base, it would be dead instantly. And I would catch it. So he let this lanky kid from Massachusetts field balls like he was Omar Vizquel. It was unbelievable. So I just wanted to thank Winnie. I miss that guy. And in closing, I just want to thank everybody for coming tonight. It really is a great honor, and I'll cherish her forever. I really appreciate everybody, and I hope you have a fantastic night. And thank you to all the other announcements.
She has so many accolades, we had to talk about her twice. Please welcome back the 5-time SSC Coach of the Year and World Golf Hall of Fame inductee, Julie Garner.
World Golf Hall of Fame. Hollis, what do you think about that? I want a locker. I want a locker right next to yours. So I mean, obviously it's awesome to be able to introduce two people in one night, and I couldn't think of two better people to introduce than these two. So yeah, Hally Leadbetter. So I just want everybody to know, because, you know, her career is taking off as a digital content creator, and she doesn't say she's an influencer, but I can tell you right now, she influences a whole lot of people. I want you to know that I came up with the moniker Hollywood before anyone else did. So I want some money, I don't know what I want, but I want something for that at some point. I'm pretty sure she has a neon sign that says Hollywood in her office. So you're welcome. So to start this journey, I took a recruiting trip to Europe, and I went over there. I didn't know what I was doing, and I was one of like 500 coaches over there, because that was the thing to do, is you're going over to find these European players. And I went to the European Team Championship, or European Girls, I don't even remember now, but it was in Sweden, and it's light almost 24 hours a day in Sweden in the summer, so I remember not sleeping all that well. But I didn't come away with very many prospects to talk about. So I get back on the plane and fly home, and I'm like, all right, I just spent $1 gazillion of the school's money, and I don't really have anything to show for it. But when I got off the plane, my phone was blowing up. And I'm like, gosh, what's happened? I mean, I haven't been gone that long. I don't know what's happening. So several of the calls were from Sunshine, from Annie Dulman. And I'm like, okay, does she want to transfer? I can't have that. That wouldn't be good at all. We're trying to surround her with good people and good players. And I thought, okay. So I called her back, and she was breathless. And she said, Hally Leadbetter may be interested in transferring from her Division I golf school. And I'm like, what? So I said, okay, well, let's not do anything illegal, shall we? Let's do everything by the book. And so, you know, we went on. And so I said, all right, well, you know, we talked about the procedures to go through. And so next thing you know, I'm in touch with Hally. And I said, all right, we'll come to Winter Park, and, you know, we'll chat. So we met at BurgerFi. And to this day, that's when we get together, I'm like, well, where do you want to meet? She's like, let's go to BurgerFi, you know. So it was like a first date type of thing. And I'm like, all right. So we go to BurgerFi, which I could, you know, there are a lot more expensive places to go than that. So that was fine with me. But anyway, so obviously, you know, we talked about it, and I would have been foolish not to have given her an opportunity to come to Rollins. And, you know, her last name carries a lot of weight in the golf world. For those of you who don't know, I mean, the Leadbetter name is, you know, one of the biggest names in golf. And funny thing is, I mean, a lot of people know of David Leadbetter, he's a pretty good teacher, I guess. He's really the preeminent golf swing coach in the world. But the irony is, the best golfer in the family is her mom, Kelly. So, you know, so let's give her some props too. But so, yeah, yes. The cool thing was, despite Hally's pedigree, she was one of the most coachable players I've ever had. And I even had other college coaches, what do you say to Hally Leadbetter when she asks you for help? And I'm like, well, I mean, I've read every book that her dad has written, so, you know, I'm pretty sure I understand what he would want, you know. And her swing is so simple and everything that, we just you just kind of give her some reassurance, and it was no problem. So, but everybody thought I should be nervous giving her advice. I'm like, well, if I'm wrong, he's going to correct it. So don't worry, it'll be just fine. But she and Sunshine were two of the best leaders for our team that I've ever been a part of. And the team we called ourselves the Dream Team. And they even have a text thread that now I'm included. Now that they graduated and there's nothing left to hide, no secrets or anything, I'm now in the text thread with the Dream Team. And I will say, don't tell them this, but I've had to mute it because it goes on and on and on and on, and I can wake up and I have 37 texts. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, they're just going back and forth, and they're sharing, photos and experiences and all that. And at the end of the day, obviously championships are great. The championship, the runner-up finish in 2015, I think kind of was a little bit of a slap in the face, and they knew, what they didn't have that year, they wanted the next year, and they were able to go out and win the championship in 2016 in Colorado. But more than that were just the relationships and everything that have been developed. One of the most fun trips I've ever taken was to Hally and Billy's wedding this past summer in Colorado. And, you just love to see that as a coach, the steps that they take after they're done with their college careers and everything, which I think was fabulous. One of the things that I thought was really cool is, when Hally got here, she really did come from a Division I, quote unquote, golf school. They were all about turning out LPGA players, and I'm sure that it was a big, culture shock to come here and to, be someplace where you have all sorts of choices, all sorts of options. A plethora of options in front of you. And I'm so excited that Hally took advantage of those. I still call her DJ Hally because she and Spencer Mumford, who was on the baseball team, did they were DJs for WPRK here. And I just think that was really fun. I think it ignited a passion, that she had for, the whole, kind of trajectory that she's on now. And I just thought that was so cool. But the biggest thing, she has such a caring heart. And, for as front-facing and public-facing as she is in her job now, I love that she has taken the time. She had lunch today with one of our players, and she sent me a Google document of 27 opportunities for this girl to hopefully find a job. So, we have a whole career and life planning, division, but we take it pretty seriously within our team that, we want to make sure to match people up with people that, can put them in the right spots. And I'm so grateful I thought that was just awesome. As busy as she is, that she sent me this whole Google document with all of this. And I thought, okay, if this girl didn't get a job, that's on her. So, but I think, the other thing that I think is so cool, and it's the same thing with Sunshine, is they're doing exactly what they wanted to do. Really, Hally, from the minute she got here, her career path is exactly what she wanted to do when she came here. And I just think that's so awesome that this school has provided her the opportunity to pursue that. And, from the minute she walked onto campus. And like I said, I just think that's what makes Rollins so special. I think that's what makes this golf program so special is we have an awful lot of people here to help us along the way. And, they're all benefiting from all of that. But, I also will say they're not riding anybody's coattails. These young ladies have decided what they want to do, and they pursued that passion, and they've won championships, as a byproduct of all of that. But, the biggest thing is it's great to see people doing what they love and that sort of thing. So as a coach, that gives me, as much satisfaction as any championship ever could. So anyway, without further ado, I'm so proud to bring up Hally Leadbetter, our 2025 Hall of Fame member. No, you're the best. You're in the Hall of Fame. So.
everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you, Coach. That was so wonderful. This is such a fantastic evening. Thank you to Phil and Penny and Jessica and the whole athletic department for putting on this event. And congratulations to the other inductees. I mean, I don't think I've seen, Anita was actually assigned to be like my mentor when I first arrived at college. So I can definitely attest to her. She was an incredible mentor. And obviously Annie Dulman, my teammate as well. My best friend, my maid of honor, my wedding a couple months ago. So my Rollins story starts with a phone call to Annie Dulman in 2013, as you heard Coach Julie mention. Annie and I had been friends since we were about 14 years old, and I had been staying at her house trying to qualify for the U.S. Girls Championship, or one of those things that we were trying to get into around that time. And I remember she asked me how school was going, and I lied, and I told her it was great, and I was happy, yada, yada, yada. I just didn't really want to get into it, because the fact was that I was very much not happy with my college experience at the time, and I hadn't figured out what to do about it just yet. After all, I had a full ride to an SEC school, and who was I to give that up? So it was only about a week later where I had a come to Jesus conversation with my mom, Kelly. So I just want to take a second to thank my parents, my dad who's watching right now, my mom and dad for being so supportive to me through the ups and downs of golf, whether it was the difficult decision that I made to transfer, which ended up being the best decision I've ever made in my life, just to their overall support throughout my life in golf and beyond. And then for my brothers, James and Andy as well, who have been so supportive to me. So anyways, come to Jesus conversation with my mother. I decided I was going to transfer, but I really had no clue where to start. So I called Annie and I asked if she knew if there were any spots available on her team. And of course she was shocked, because I had literally told her a couple days ago that I was just so loving my college experience. So once we got past that, she made a call to Coach Julie, and the rest was history. So I want to take this time to thank Annie Dulman, because I would definitely not be here without you. And I'm so proud of you and everything you're doing in LA. And, you know, it's funny, over the years, like I said, Annie and I have known each other since, I don't know, how long have we known each other now? We don't know. Yeah, let's say since we were 13, a long time. And we've lived in Florida together, we lived in New York City together, and now we live in Los Angeles together. So it's really, really cool. So fast forward to a couple weeks later, after Annie calls Coach, I'm sitting with Coach Julie at BurgerFi over some truffle Parmesan fries. And we're talking about the program and what I was truly looking to get out of my college experience that I just hadn't gotten yet. And Coach shared with me that she was looking to win another national championship, but what she truly cared about was the development of her players as people, and who would then go out into the world and make a positive impact in whichever way they chose to do so. So I was so happy and really grateful to hear this, and I knew then that Rollins was the place for me. So going to Rollins College was the best decision I ever made, not only for my golf game, but the development of me as a human being. And for me, those two things went hand in hand. Going to Rollins was transformative for me as a golfer, because I was a happier human being. And I owe that to Coach Julie, because she really encouraged me to be open to the other interests that I had, whether that was representing the team on the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, or doing a WPRK radio show with Spencer Mumford, who we mentioned, before workouts in the morning. So I'd go to WPRK, we do our radio show from 5 a.m. to 7, and then I'd run over to the gym and do our team workouts. So Coach really encouraged that, and Coach, I will forever be indebted to you. You are so much more than a bus driver and the Starbucks bill payer. You really are, like Annie said, this program wouldn't be where it is without you, and we would not be where we are in our lives without you. So I just want to give a round of applause to Coach Julie. So like I said, the time at Rollins was so transformative for me. I was just telling a couple professors that I had lunch with today, I really appreciated that they would welcome me into their offices with open arms to discuss whatever existential crisis I was having that week. The ability to really explore my beliefs and learn new ways of thinking and surround myself with people that really fostered those things is not something that I would have had at that critical time in my life if I had not come to Rollins. So in addition to Coach Julie and my professors, we were also so lucky to have the support of President Cornwell and his lovely wife, Peg. Where are they? Oh, there we go. Yep. Who really saw sports as our education off campus, which I really appreciated because there were a few teachers that tried to give us a hard time on missing class for tournaments, and he put an end to that. So I appreciate that. It is a huge honor to be a part of such a revered program and to follow in the steps of incredible women like Hollis Stacy, who's also here tonight. So a round of applause for Hollis. It's funny looking back on some of the team experiences that we had, you know, whether it was, like Coach mentioned, we were the upperclassmen on our team. We really felt like we wanted to win another national championship for Coach. So we, you know, would threaten our teammates. They like, you absolutely better not be going out downtown tonight. We have workouts at 6 a.m. tomorrow. And, you know, other things that maybe Coach didn't know about at the time, like when we would go to the UNC tournament and she dropped us off on campus to look around, and then we like Ubered to a coffee shop because we heard that it was really good, and we were definitely not supposed to do that. So sorry, Coach. Or going to Santa Monica for our spring break, which is the first time that I had ever been to Los Angeles. And I thought, wow, I'd really love to live here one day, which is where I now live. Ultimately, we did get Coach that national championship. So felt like we made do, Annie. We fulfilled our promise there. I look back on a regular basis and feel so immensely grateful to have had the Rollins College women's golf experience and to do so alongside Annie and the rest of the dream team that Coach mentioned. In fact, we still all talk regularly in our group chat. We attend each other's weddings. A couple of us got married this last year, and I actually spent time with Lexi Toth in the airport yesterday. I was on my way here, and she was coming back from Hawaii, and so we literally just sat at the gate and caught up, which was really neat. And Coach Julia she still regularly answers my phone calls when I'm in need of advice, which she definitely does not need to do. I think that statute of limitations ran out like a long time ago, but I think that's just a testament to how much she cares about her players. So in conclusion, it really is such an honor to be here and to have been a part and, you know, be a part of the Rollins women's golf family. The trophies are nice, and I will always cherish what we accomplished on the course. But what I'm truly grateful for is the mentorship from Coach Julie, the opportunity to get the education that I got at Rollins, and the wonderful friends that I've made who I get to call teammates forever. So roll Tars.
Up next to the stage is the only coach in the history of the Rollins women's lacrosse program. He has 3 SSC titles and is a 2-time National Coach of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, Dennis Short.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And first, before I forget, congratulations to all the inductees. I've been here long enough that I actually personally know many of them. And it's really a great honor for all the athletes. You know, you see them walk into class, you get to watch them, you know, compete, and to see them years later, not that many years later. Don't worry, Annie. And Annie, we always talk about the Thomas twins. I think it's actually triplets, and Annie's the long-lost triplet. I just kind of, you know, see her all the time like she's one of those sisters. So it is truly an honor to stand here before you tonight to introduce an athlete who embodied everything that makes Rollins College and our athletic program so special. Tonight we celebrate greatness, and there's no one more deserving of this recognition than Tyler Burkett from our women's lacrosse team. From the moment Tyler stepped on the field, she was a game changer. We knew she would be. We coached her before she got here on our club team, so we had a pretty good idea that was a surefire thing. Her talent, dedication, and her relentless drive set her apart. But it was her leadership, passion, and her commitment to excellence that truly made her unforgettable. Tyler didn't just play the game, she elevated the game. She was the kind of player who made those around her better. She embraced the biggest moments, and she set the standard for what it means to be a Rollins women's lacrosse player. Tyler's accomplishments on the field really speak for themselves. She was a first-team All-American, Sunshine State Conference Player of the Year, and a dominant force every time she stepped between the lines. She helped lead Rollins to 3 NCAA tournament appearances, including an unforgettable Final Four run, cementing her place in our program's history. She was a competitor in every sense of the word, determined, fearless, and always ready to rise to the occasion. Whether that was setting up a teammate or scoring the game-winning goal, which she did on so many occasions, Tyler was at her best when the team needed her the most. But that's really not, to me, the biggest impact Tyler had. Her impact wasn't limited to the lacrosse field, and in fact, I think the lacrosse field was second to where she really had the impact. She was just as committed to excellence in the classroom, earning academic All-American honors, a testament to her ability to balance the rigorous demands of being a student athlete. She also became the first women's lacrosse recipient of the Fiat Lux Award, one of the highest honors a Rollins student can receive, recognizing her leadership, her service, and her embodiment of the college's core values. Tyler's legacy is not just in the records she set or the championships she helped us chase. It's in the culture she helped build. She represented Rollins with class, determination, and an unwavering love for the game. She inspired teammates with her work ethic, brought energy to every practice and game, and left a lasting impact on this program that is still being felt today. It is with great pride, admiration, and gratitude that I welcome Tyler into the Rollins College Athletics Hall of Fame.
Okay, well, I'm not a public speaker, so I will try to get us back on track with the schedule. When I began writing this speech, I struggled to find the words and sentiments that I wanted to come across. I asked a few friends what I should say, and they told me I should tell some jokes. Well, the truth is, I'm really not funny. Instead, I want to take this time to express my gratitude. I'd like to start by thanking my parents. They never missed a single game my sister and I played in, whether that be lacrosse, bowling, band, or soccer. They were at everything. Now, as an employee of my dad's, I truly understand the immense sacrifices that must have taken. And I honestly don't know how he did it. My mom, on the other hand, is my biggest cheerleader. She was the one that signed us up for lacrosse tryouts in 6th grade, and my sister and I were not happy. We wanted to skip, but thank goodness she did, because I'm very appreciative of that push. Both of them have always been so proud of me and my sister, and it means the world to both of us. Next, I want to thank Taylor, my twin, for always being the best competition. It was great having a best friend growing up, but on the lacrosse field, I didn't want you anywhere near me. I'll always treasure our screaming matches during practice and some games. Sorry about that. I'd also like to thank Coach Short and TK. It was an honor to play for both of you, both before and during my time at Rollins. And I couldn't have handpicked better coaches. You both are truly the best. I have so many wonderful memories with both of you, and you've made an incredible impact on my life through many phases. From the many shenanigans during the Tough Enough Challenge, maybe don't have your players push around a truck, to our Wawa adventures, and many more that shall remain not named. Thank you both for your dedication to the athletes who have come through Rollins Lacrosse. I know many people who are very appreciative. Lastly, I want to say a huge thank you to Rollins for bringing me some incredible teammates and lifelong friends, including many in this room, Sarah, Annie, I love you both. I had the best time in my 4 years here, and I would do it all over again if I could, with one stipulation, as long as I met my husband. I love you, and I love our entire family. We are the luckiest. In closing, I feel incredibly blessed to have had such amazing support from my family, coaches, teammates, and friends. I'll carry these memories with me forever. Now, I may not have told any jokes, but I hope the gratitude in my words comes through just as strongly as any punchline could. Congratulations to all the other inductees, and here's to our next chapter. We are officially very, very retired.
Please join me in welcoming former men's soccer standout, assistant coach extraordinaire, and 2012 Rollins Sports Hall of Famer, Joe Rikeman.
I'm walking a little slow because all those balls and all those practices I kicked at Michelle, it paid its toll. I want to mention, as I was sitting there and being part of Rollins and for so many years, I looked at all the stats, and it's truly amazing what you guys, you inductees, have accomplished. It truly is. But the biggest thing that rings through, and it's always rung through, is how good of people you turned out to be, and that's what Rollins is all about. It truly is. And then I was looking at stats because Michelle always said the one thing is she wanted to beat every stat I had at Rollins. She just about did. But there's two stats that I want to reach out to because it's really an amazing feat. And Anita, where is she? Took off? Oh, hiding. You were a great player, amazing player and leader, so don't ever try to put that down because you were. And the two stats that stood out are in the game she played, over half of them were shutouts. That means she didn't let up one goal in half of those games. And her goal against average was .57. And the one thing that I told her throughout the career was, if you can never lose if you don't get up a goal. And it's just it. You could tie games, which in soccer is one of those lucky things that you could do and walk away, feel a little bit good. But it was truly amazing what she accomplished and what that team accomplished and all the players that are here as well. It's truly amazing stat. And Michelle, I'm honored to be here to recognize you and all your accomplishments. And one of the things I looked at, I'm looking at all these records and all these things. I'm, my God, this girl must have had an unbelievable club coach, high school coach, college coach. And then I realized that was me. So I was extremely excited about that. But the reality is there's several people that influenced Michelle. When she came to me as a club player, I got to meet her mom first. And one thing when you get married, they always say you don't just marry your spouse, you marry the family. Well, it's the same with Michelle. I didn't just get the player, I got the whole family. And Carol was the first one I met, and that was crazy, absolutely crazy. And I'm like, God, just one season, that's all I need. But then I was lucky enough to meet Grammy, and she came out with food and all this stuff, and it carried on through high school, through college. And I said, between her and her grandfather, they were the anchors. I could deal with everything else, but they were a great family, very supportive of Michelle, loving family, and her sister's here as well with her and her husband. I was very happy to be at your wedding. I never thought that would happen, so I was ecstatic to be part of it. There's one thing that you need to know, though, and I could say this because I was a goalkeeper. Goalkeepers are absolutely crazy, and you have to be crazy. And Michelle did not disappoint when it came to that. And I can't take all the credit, and there's several people. One, Dana Singer, who was a Rollins soccer player as well that I coached. All right, calm down. He was unable to be here, but he was a great help to me. And then both Don Davison, who, when I'd get mad and yell, he was the calming voice to work with Michelle and the rest of the team. And Joan, who helped. It took a team to get Michelle through high school, through college, and through everything. But it was amazing. And of course, Alicia, who did an amazing job as a coach. And I guess I have to say Dan, too, because he got her in somewhat shape, a little bit of shape. It was great. But the other side is Michelle never disappointed on the field or off the field. She took advantage of opportunities, and she was in club, and she did an amazing job, and she wanted to be there, and she worked hard. And then it went to high school. She was, where were you at, Winter Park? And then she wanted better. She wanted better education. She wanted to be at a different school, and she found her way to Trinity, where I was coaching at the time. And she did amazing there at school. And then I thought I was done with her. Next thing you know, she shows up at the door at Rollins. And, quietly, I was very pleased to have her as part of that program. And she, same stories we've heard before. She not only excelled on the field, but she excelled off the field. And she truly took advantage of all the opportunities that her life gave her. She was a wonderful person. It's hard for me to, throw all these nice, but it's true. And I'm so proud of who you are today. So proud of what you've accomplished in your life. And this award, to be part of this club, I'm so happy to recognize you as now being officially part of the Rollins Hall of Fame. So congratulations.
As Joe just said, my journey as a Rollins athlete began very differently than most. I was first introduced to Rollins when I was 12 years old. I joined a club soccer team coached by Hall of Famer Joe Rikeman and current provost Don Davison, also known as Don Triple D Davison. After that, it would not take me long to be immersed in Rollins soccer. I would attend Rollins practices and work in with the college goalkeepers. Rollins coaches and players, like Alicia Miliak, Tony Amato, and Keith Buckley would come and run practices with our teams. As Joe said, Miliak and Joe were also my high school coaches. I'm fairly certain there were some NCAA violations in there somewhere, but we'll move past that. Despite my involvement in Rollins, when it came time to decide where I wanted to go, Rollins was not at the top of my list. There were already 3 upperclassmen goalkeepers there. One of them played for the Danish national team. And I knew that I wanted to play right away. However, in December of my senior year, I was told that the starting goalkeeper was actually leaving and that I should contact the then head coach, Tony Amato. I ended up signing with Rollins in April of my senior year. My athletic career at Rollins was just as unique as my recruitment. When I was told that I was getting inducted into the Hall of Fame for my soccer accomplishments, I was actually a little surprised that it was not for my 1 year of varsity lacrosse that I played. I told TK out there, thank you for the NCAA semifinalist trophy that's in my office at my house right now. Appreciate that. And whenever anybody asks me what sports I played in college, I always say soccer and lacrosse. For those of you who don't know, I was literally recruited to play 1 year of college lacrosse in November of my senior year, having never picked up a lacrosse stick before. During my freshman year, I was fully expecting to pay my dues. But due to injuries, I ended up making my first collegiate start in the first game of the year. I was told this approximately 45 minutes before the game started. My sophomore year, I was the only goalkeeper on the team. I'm sure Jessica Deese remembers having to go through goalkeeper practice and wearing a goalkeeper jersey so we could pretend we had a backup goalie while she was recovering from an injury. My junior year, I sprained my ankle during the first practice of preseason. Of course, with my luck, it happened approximately 30 minutes after the fitness test. My senior year was Alicia Miliak's inaugural season as a head coach. She was also my third coach in 4 years. Despite all of that, me and my teammates and I were able to accomplish some great things. In 4 years, we had 4 NCAA tournament appearances, 2 conference championships, 1 conference tournament championship, 4 consecutive conference defensive player of the years, 11 all-conference players, 8 conference all-tournament team players, 4 conference all-decade team players, and 5 All-Americans. I am currently the head coach at a varsity soccer team at a small private school up in Jacksonville. Once a year, I have an open discussion with the players and parents who are interested in playing collegiate soccer. Obviously, many things have changed, but I try to give them an idea of what it's like to play college sports. I talk about the commitment, the hard work, and the discipline that you need to be a successful college athlete. At the end of the discussion, almost always I have a parent ask me if playing collegiate soccer was worth it or if I'd do it again. I always say yes. After one of these discussions, I started thinking about why it was worth it. Being a college athlete is hard, especially back in the good old days. So why do we do it? The 7 a.m. workouts, the injury treatments, ice baths, studying for a test, or writing a paper on a bus at 11 o'clock at night. Of course, winning, making memories with teammates, and accolades are fun. But when I think about what soccer did for me, I think more about the skills off the field that I have taken with me. In college, I did an interview for the Rollins magazine about my mentoring relationship with Joe Rikeman. In that article, when I was 21 years old, I said, everyone has an idea of their own limits and questions what they are capable of. Sports shows you how far you think you can go and pushes you further. You can do more than you think you can. This remains true even after you hang up your cleats. You develop that special part in your brain that tells you that you can do this, you have to do this. In that same article, Joe stated that I am the type of person who steps up to challenges and strives to be the best she can. She definitely took advantage of all the opportunities that were presented to her. I hope this is what people see when they look back at my soccer career. Although there are many people who helped me in my career, there are some that I feel need individual gratitude. First of all the administrators and staff here at Rollins. I know you work very hard to make our dreams of playing collegiate sports a reality. All of my teammates and coaches over the years, especially Alicia Miliak, Don Davison, and of course, Joe Rikeman and his family. You all helped me along my path, and I am grateful for the impact you've had on my life. I would like to thank my family, my mother, siblings, and as Joe said, many members of my very large extended family for their continued support over the years. I would also like to thank 2 people that I'm fairly certain were more popular at Rollins than I was. My grandparents, who in 4 years missed approximately 5 games and made sure that our stomachs were always replenished after every game. Finally, to my husband, I know you were not a part of my life during my soccer career, but I appreciate you being my personal PR guy whenever someone asks me about my soccer career, as well as your reminders to always be proud of the things that I have accomplished. Thank you.
Next to the stage is the winningest coach in Rollins women's tennis history, a Rollins Sports Hall of Fame inductee, and 2020 ITA Meritorious Service Award winner, Bev Buckley.
Wow, we had some great speeches tonight. I'm going to keep it short, but I'm tell you what, I'm introducing a world-class athlete here tonight, and I couldn't be more proud. But before I start that, I do have to say something to Julie and Hally about your Uber trip. Penny doesn't know about this. Wait, no, not about you guys. When I was coaching, we were down in South Florida. We were in Miami. We go to dinner. We come home every night, 9 o'clock. I'd say goodnight to the girls. I'd go to bed. Well, I find out maybe a couple years later, when a couple of the players graduated, Coach, we have a story to tell you. I said, well, what's the story? Well, do you remember when we were in South Beach and, back in, 2015 or whenever it was? Yeah, what? Well, we took an Uber down to South Beach and we didn't come home till 2 a.m. We had to play Barry and Lynn the next day, and they were the 1 and 2 teams in the conference. And of course we lost. But it was funny because one of the players said to me, Coach, we figured that you knew that we had gone out. I said, why would I think that? Well, because we came down to breakfast with wet hair. And I'm like, what does that mean? Well, because we never washed our hair in the morning. We only watch it at the end of the day after we played. I'm like, would I notice that? No. But anyway, so Ubering to do coffee was timid compared to my team. Anyway, so I am here to introduce Hollis Stacy. And I'd like to really acknowledge all of the other inductees that are here. It is a prestigious honor to be inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame with Rollins College. And it's truly an honor to be here, but it's even more of an honor to have the privilege of introducing world-class golfer Hollis Stacy. I'm just going to mention again, for those of you who don't know me, which most of you here probably don't because I'm old, I attended Rollins, and I was the head women's tennis coach for 38 years. I just retired June 1st. Thank you. So this begs the question, if I was the tennis coach, why am I introducing a golfer? Well, because Hollis enrolled in Rollins in 1972 when I was a student, and she joined the Kappa Kappa Gamma sorority. And it was during Rush that I learned about Hollis. And Hollis is not just a golfer, but she's a true friend. So I am so honored to be up here today. So she went through Rush. I'm a Kappa Gamma, which unfortunately is no longer on the campus. Not because of anything I did. We're not going to tell those stories. But I learned a lot about Hollis because she decided to go through Rush, and she was really looking seriously at Kappa. So I'm going to give you a little background about Hollis. She was born and raised in Savannah, Georgia. She is one of 10 children born to Jack and Matilda Stacy. All of her siblings achieved athletic success as well, but as the 4th oldest child, she had family responsibilities outside of playing golf, which included babysitting duties. And so she was kept very humble. Her parents were great role models as well. And I'd like to share a quote with you from Hollis in an article about her parents. Our father and mother made us so competitive, Stacy said. Mom had 10 babies. Dad was a war hero who landed with Patton in 1944. He was a running back at Clemson, so we got hit with some really good genes. I would say so. So both of her parents were also avid golfers. Her dad held a 2 handicap and her mother had a 10 handicap. Before she really got serious about her golf, she dabbled in other sports. She played tennis, she played softball, she played basketball, and she was a swimmer. But in the end, golf was clearly her calling, as she captured 3 consecutive U.S. girls titles from 1969 to 1971. There's only one other golfer in the world, male or female, who accomplished this, and it was Tiger Woods. So after attending Rollins for 2 years and enjoying sorority life, I said I wouldn't tell any stories, so I'm not going to. I'm going to be good. The tour was calling her, and she joined the LPGA in 1974. She won 4 majors, 3 of which were U.S. Open titles, and 18 LPGA events. She also won 6 USGA titles that many say defined her greatness. She was inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame in 2012 and has continued playing in numerous senior and pro-am events. She continues to give back to the game that she loves by remaining active in U.S. juniors and development programs. Please join me in welcoming Hollis Stacy to the stage.
Bev, you were too kind. Before Bev walked up here, I said, Bev, are you going to jump up on the stage? And she goes, no, we need the railing. We need the railing. So I was watching the beautiful pictures up there. And if you didn't notice, mine were the only black and white ones. Yes. And cute little Annie and all the inductees, and congratulations to all the inductees. You know, that they would say, they would roll their eyes and they would say, 15 years ago. So I am lucky to say that I went to Rollins and I have great friends. And at this table, 50 years ago, okay? 50 years ago. Bev, Karen, Bobby Russo, you know, I'm so lucky, and that was the best part. I mean, I was so fortunate to have come to Rollins. Back then, the NCAA, they kind of didn't do the Title IX thing, and I was fortunate to get a scholarship. My time here was short, but it was profound. Before I came here, I won 3 national juniors. So I really love playing golf, and I love playing golf at a high level. So lo and behold, I'm playing in the 1977 U.S. Open. I'm at Hazeltine. And I'm in the last groups. So and I'm like, it's a little stressful. It's a little stressful. So I remember my favorite professor here, Dr. DiNicola, philosophy. And he gave, my favorite part of philosophy was Plato. The sum of the parts is equal to the whole. So that would be, as I'm playing and stressing out at Hazeltine with the cameras and the putts and all this stuff, the sum of the parts is equal to the whole. So that would be ball position, grip, timing, rhythm, and forget that last hole you just played. So I have to attribute my success at a high level to just the small course of Dr. DiNicola in philosophy. You know, I've carried that with me my whole career, and it's helped me a lot. But getting back to the fun stuff about Rollins, we were driving up here, from Tampa, and it was, there was a few words and with the traffic. And I'm telling Dorothy, my wife, I go, well, when I went here, there were 100,000 people that lived here. So that's how long ago. And driving into Fairbanks, I was telling Dorothy, I said, oh my goodness, this place is really, I've been here before, but it's really gotten beautiful and big and is it my caps? No. Anyway, but I do love my friendships that I've maintained throughout my life, that I met my friends here. I loved it. I see Rollins people throughout the country, throughout the world, and we always go Tars, go Tars. I need to congratulate Julie for the fine job that you've done with women's golf. You've done a great job. Great job. Great job. Penny, thank you very much for organizing this. Phil, thank you for all this. Grant, you've done a great job with Rollins, and I want to thank everybody. Thank you very much for the honor. Thank you.
Introducing our final inductee is the 2004 SSC Player of the Year, former ABCA All-American, and 2014 Rollins Hall of Fame inductee, Toby Rice.
Good evening, everybody. Everybody still have energy? Good, that's great. My name is Toby Rice. I've known Coach for over 25 years. Think about that. I played with him when I was a Rollins College Tar from 2000 to 2004. I've been suspended by Coach. I've won championships with Coach. I've built a business with Coach. We had some pretty tremendous successes together. We almost went bankrupt together. Keyword, almost. I've spent thousands of hours with this guy by my side, from the dugout to the drilling floor, and I have a pretty good understanding of really how he works and why he's been so successful. And I want to share some of those remarks with you guys tonight. And I will be quoting Coach in some of these stories. So, Mr. President, please forgive me. This guy's from Boston. So, Coach is an inspiration. We all know there are people in this world where you look at them and you just know they're going to be doing great things. We all could think of those types of people. We all know somebody like that. Think of somebody like Steve Castino. Where are you, Steve? There's these people you look at and you just know they're going to be doing great things. Coach Rikeman is not one of those people. Yet, Coach has still achieved a level of success with those people that have been poised to do great things. I think Coach Rikeman's story is a great example of how attitude can triumph over aptitude. No disrespect. We can be here tonight to celebrate what he's done, over 350 wins, College World Series. I want to celebrate how he did it. Flying by the seat of his pants and getting everybody around him to do the same thing. As a coach, one of his sayings that he used a lot, this is the quote, he used to tell us to fuck up flying. Sorry. And actually, this is what was going through my head in the game that led to the final out that sent us on the College World Series, a base hit to right field. Charged it hard and said I could probably hit the cutoff man, or we could try to throw the guy out at third base. And I remember that saying, and so I threw it as hard as I could. And Nick Manson at third base made a great tag, and that play ended the game and sent us to the College World Series. that was a big that was a big saying from Coach. And the other thing I'd say that's defining about Coach is he worked with the cards that he was dealt, and he played the best hand he could. You know, I think that true success isn't measured by what you've accomplished. It's measured by what you've accomplished with your ability. And, you know, Coach took this team to the World Series, and we've got a lot of the players here tonight. Guys, would you stand up for a second? Come on, stand up for a second. Rosie, get up there. That's you too, Rosie. Now, I just want you to, Rosie, please stand up. All right, just for a second there, while these guys are all standing up, I mean, these were some of the top baseball players in the country. You would never know it by looking at them. But he got the best out of us. And, you know, it was pretty amazing playing with him. To see this group of people, I think we only had like maybe one or two guys actually end up making a professional career out of playing baseball. But Coach had a great intuition. You know, we celebrated Gene Howard tonight. You know, he was a tremendous hitter. I was there when Gene was there as a freshman. Coach looked him up and down. And he said, that guy right there, he's a pitcher, not a hitter. Coach turned weakness into strength, and I think that was a really great skill that he had. You know, my final year, we were ranked 45th going into preseason. Now that's out of probably 50 teams, so that's not doing too good. And well, what did Coach do about that? He printed out the newspaper article that had the rankings and posted it in every single one of our locker rooms, in our lockers, and he circled it, and I think he put a no respect for this team, and it charged everybody up. He took a weakness and turned it into a strength. But I'll tell you what Coach's weaknesses really are. He cares about his players too much. He cared about winning too much. And his biggest weakness is he has no clue about what's possible and what's not. And he will always shoot for the stars and set really big goals. You know, I think you know, Coach isn't just here because of what he's done on the baseball field. It's not about the stats with Coach. If you're here for Coach and he's touched your life in some way, I'd like for you all just to make a round of applause for Coach. Because it's never been about baseball or the oil field with Coach. It's always been about people and winning. And I'm proud to call you Coach. I'm proud to call you a coworker, one of my best friends in the world, and now a fellow Hall of Famer. Thank you, Coach.
Well, now that I just ripped to shreds, that actually leads into my speech. I am the worst athlete to ever be inducted into the Rollins College Hall of Fame. There's no doubt about that in my mind. I want to thank the committee. I obviously want to thank everybody involved with Rollins Athletics. I've known Phil Chinnery for a long time. He was great with my son. I want to thank him. Jess, thanks for letting me send you 75 different table changes before tonight. I can't thank you guys enough for everything, and really want to thank the Hall of Fame committee for thinking of me. And you know, the greatest thing about me is I was never great at anything, and that's honestly the way I've lived my life. Like, I wake up every morning to this day, 5 o'clock, go to the gym, and you know, I retired in 2017, and now I'm helping coach attorneys at Morgan & Morgan. Like, it's the craziest thing. My life has gone from one thing to the other, and I just love being around people and helping people. So this is a great honor, and I just want to take my time tonight to thank people. There's a lot of people that are here tonight that are the reason why I'm here, so please bear with me. I know everybody's probably tired. I think I pulled a hamstring sitting down over there tonight. So I just have to do this. And you know, to all you athletes, Annie, I heard you say something about, you know, this is the end of the chapter. My dad told me something I'll never forget. Work hard, make a mark in your life, because it's better to be a has-been than it ever was. And that is something that you could all be proud of, all the Hall of Famers here. It's something they can never take away from you. And that's a tribute to your effort, your hard work, the discipline that you put into everything you do, and really should be very proud of yourselves. And congratulations to all the Hall of Famers here tonight. You know, one of the first people I'd say, Gene Howard, you know, he kind of brought it up, but it's an interesting story. You know, I played against his older brother, Christian, when I was younger in Lynn, Massachusetts. You know, I coached Justin at UMass and overseas at Team USA. And then, you know, I got to coach Gene. So, Gene, congratulations. Definitely one of the most unselfish. You know, you gave up everything. You pitched for me whenever I need you. You're always willing to take the ball, and you deserve every bit of this. Congratulations. You know, it's amazing. I've known Julie and I know Ben for a long time. Julie was gracious enough to let me work with her golfers when I was here. You know, one of the coolest moments I had is when I came back for Toby's Hall of Fame was getting a hug from Freddie. And I can't lie. I mean, that meant a lot to me, right? I mean, I didn't coach Freddie. I just, you know, saw her in the weight room all the time. And that's Rollins. That is Rollins. 100%. The hidden secret about this school is the relationships with people. And I said this at the first pitch dinner, and I'll say it again tonight. We could talk about all the academics you want. And if I offend anybody, President, please don't get mad at me. But this is truly the reason for me being here is the relationships I've had with all of my players, all the coaches, all the administrators, you know, at Rollins College. Let's be honest. You know, I heard the Davidsons mention, and Joan used to, you know, give us the NCAA test, and she can attest that I could finish that test in under 15 minutes. No lie. But she can also attest to the fact that I flunked it once because I skipped a damn question and forgot to go back and do it, so the whole circle thing was off. And I had to wait how many weeks before I could retake it again. But, I mean, these people impacted me every single day. And that's why I would really appreciate if everybody just be patient, let me just go through some names, because that's why I'm here today. It's nothing that I did. The support that I got at Rollins while I was here, the people that I had here at Rollins is the reason why I'm standing in front of you tonight. And I just think it's out of respect that I have the time to thank them. I'll go through quick, but I also might tell a little smart-ass story here and there and, you know, maybe make you laugh once in a while, too. You know, first off, to Jimmy Oppenheim, who's here, he's the reason why I'm here. So I was with the White Sox in 1994, and my major league contract was a whopping $3,500. I was making big bucks. And I was in, you know, moonlighting in a sporting goods store in Massachusetts called The Barn. Any of you guys know the Wellesley area? I think the barn ended up being burned down, but I mean, I did sharpen skates there and string tennis rackets and all kinds of stupid stuff. And I get a phone call one night from Joe Arabino, and he's like, hey, the pitching coaching job's open at Rollins. Would you be interested in taking the job? Well, how soon can you get there? I said, how's tomorrow morning sound? And I resigned from the White Sox and drove 18 straight hours to Florida with two trash bags of clothes, my golf clubs, which they were somewhere in a pond in South Carolina because I stopped playing golf a while ago. And I made it to Florida in 18 hours. And I slept in the locker room for 3 months until it was approved, my position was approved, and I made $18,000, and I became the pitching coach at Rollins. 3 months later, the head coach who hired me quits, and now I have no White Sox, no place to live, and I may not have a job, you know. So, but Jimmy Oppenheim and Joe Arabino have been loyal to me since day one, helped me recruit out of the Northeast a lot. I'm very pleased that Jimmy's here, and yes, his son is Robbie Oppenheim, who Kyle Frakes did not want to give scholarship money to because, quote unquote, he's a bunter. And I said, if you don't give him 10 grand, I'm going to give him something. And if you don't do it, I'm going to put him on the baseball team instead of the golf team. And the rest is history for Robbie. So I'm really thankful to Jimmy. I know you're here. I know Joe couldn't be here today, but thank you for everything you did for me and getting me to Rollins College, because without you, this would never have happened. It never would have happened. You know, Tom and Kyle, you know, they were so gracious and they're so happy for me to get in the Hall of Fame that they're in Martha's Vineyard with Vic Zola watching freaking basketball games. But those two are my, like, literally, I would say my best friends to this day out of Rollins. I mean, there's no question in my mind. I mean, as an administrator, I would say that Penny's right up there because Penny takes my stupid text messages now and then. But Tom and Kyle are like brothers to me. You know, Kyle was in my wedding, and he's about as dependable out off the golf course as he was on the golf course at times. But honestly, those two guys meant a lot to me, and I think Tom had a lot to do with me getting the job at Rollins in the beginning. When I was, when John Fulgham left and I had, really nowhere to go, Tom was one of the guys who would come down to baseball field and watch me work with camp and spend a lot of time with me. So I really owe Tommy a lot, and I know he would go back to Phil and tell Phil he'd take a chance on me, and, the rest is history. I miss Jim Poling to death. It's one of the saddest things. I mean, Jimmy was one of the guys in the athletic department. He's just a tremendous man to talk to every day. Funny, always quirky, but very direct. And when he left Rollins to go to the Army, I mean, I think it was a loss to the athletic department. He's just a tremendous man, and really sad to hear that. And again, even though we're not here, we're here. I mean, you know that, Bev. I mean, we always stay in touch, even if we don't see each other for months. The coaches were very close at Rollins. Bev, she was like a best friend to me. We would sit in staff meetings across the way, and we'd laugh and joke, and then we'd go out in the hallway, and she's like, were you making fun of me, or you just, we just have these chats back and forth. But very loyal. I'm embarrassed to say that, yes, she did watch me play tennis once on the tennis court, and I'm like I said, the worst athlete known to man, but I tried to lose weight like that once, and it didn't last very long. Keith Buckley and we had an unbelievable relationship. I really loved Keith. His soccer players would come out and beat the crap out of the soccer field every single day, beat the crap out of the baseball field every single day, and I'd have a hole in right field, a hole in left field, and Keith would walk away and say, my season's going now, I don't need your field anymore. And I kept going to Phil, and I'm like, Phil, can you please AstroTurf the baseball field, because these guys have beaten the crap out of it. And I did such a great job complaining that Keith got the freaking AstroTurf soccer field. So every day we go out to lunch, and one of the guys, being from Massachusetts, I grew up in an Italian family. I know the name Rikeman doesn't sound Italian, but my mother's a Della Piana. And I knew nothing about nachos and all this kind of stuff. I just didn't. There wasn't a lot of Mexican restaurants in Boston at the time where I grew up. So, Glenn Wilkes taught me something I will never, ever forgive him for, and that is nacho chips, salsa, and ranch dressing. I mean, that is just a definite 10-pound gain every time you go in and eat it, and I give Glenn all the guff for that, because it helped me gain a lot of weight in my days. I think it would be remiss, even though he was really tough on me, if I didn't thank Phil Roach. I mean, I got the Rollins job at 26 years old. I made a lot of mistakes, and Jacinth Harrington, who was Phil's assistant at the time, literally had a chair outside of Phil's door with my name on it every weekend after we played in the conference series. I was in trouble every single weekend. Every coach that's in this room knows I was in trouble all the time. And, Phil somehow supported me through it all. And in honesty, I didn't see eye to eye with him a lot. I mean, I would get DNE on my annual evaluations. Even if I won 40 games, I was a DNME. Does not meet expectations because I chewed tobacco. And every time I had it in my mouth, he would catch me, and he would reprimand me. And then he would say, can I sit in your dugout tonight and watch the game? And I'd say, yeah, sure. No, I get there. He's freaking smoking a cigar in the damn dugout, but I can't chew. But Phil, I give Phil a lot of credit where credit's due. He, like I said, he took a chance on a young kid that was dumb and stupid and really just, wanted to be good at something, and I owe him a lot. So I appreciate him. I will say that you have a great athletic director now. Penny's got a heart the size of the Grand Canyon. She was unbelievable. She was unbelievable to me. I know when I left Rollins in 2010, for reasons that will not be discussed here, and it was not for more money, believe me, for me. But Penny and I stayed close through it all. And in fact, she hated the guy I went to work for because I left and went to work there. And honestly, I committed career suicide in baseball leaving Rollins College. I'm not embarrassed to admit it. I admit it. And, I stuck up for something I believed in, and I got burned. And, it's the way things work. But Penny has been unbelievable to me ever since she came to Rollins College, and she remains great to me to this day. And thank you for everything. The next few people, I'll just run through it. Mike Rokovich, he was one of our first assistant athletic directors, and Mike would do anything to help the coaches. He was a great guy. Kirk Nally, who I'm friends with to this day, young guy, another guy that was great with me and did a lot for me. Dean Hebel, he was great. He was never really Mr. Positive. And I'll never forget when Toby threw that guy to third base and we ended up winning the regionals and we were going to the World Series. We're all jumping around the mound and everything. And Dean's going, "I told you so." I'm like, "You haven't told me so once in the 10 years you've been here." But Dean was a tremendous guy, and he really loved the athletes. Really loved the athletes. Took his job very serious and appreciate everything he did. Some of the people that don't get thanks, like Jacinth Harrington, Karen Hoblick. I used to go to Karen all the time and say, "Where the hell's Julie's golf team staying when they're in Miami?" "Oh, they're staying at Don Shula's." "Okay, put us there. Wherever Julie stays, we're going." Like, they always stay at the best place. And then I get yelled at coming back because she had 5 players and I had 30. So there was a big difference in cost there, But, Jacinth and Judy Wolbert too, like everybody in the athletic department always treated me like gold. I'm telling you, I never, ever felt uncomfortable going into the athletic department, except when I was in trouble. One person that a lot of people here don't know, because you're not old enough to know, but when I first came to Rollins, there was a guy that would literally sit in the gym in the baseball stadium, because we had a weight room in the baseball stadium. Their beautiful locker room now, Coach, that was a weight room back when I came here. Mike Bourbonnais, who I was afraid of when I came here, because I literally in my head thought he was like a Hell's Angel. And he would sit in this little cubby hole in the baseball stadium with a double door, and he would sit behind her, and all he did all day was sit there all day. But Mike was a super guy, big heart, and he did a lot for me. Believe it or not, I know you guys will think I'm crazy, but anybody who ever had to deal with shipping and receiving, Fahaz and Dev are the best. You could joke with them, and before things were politically correct, I'm not going to stay here today because I don't want anybody to hate me. I would say things to them, we'd say things to me. When I went to Saudi Arabia and come back, I'd give them crap about things, and 2 of the best guys ever. But I never had a problem with anything shipping and receiving because you just build a relationship with those people, and they're good people. Big Country. Anybody who was here a long time ago if you didn't make Big Country, it's a shame. Like, he was one of these guys larger than life. He worked in the physical plant. Whenever I needed anything done at the baseball field, Big Country would do it. And, he'd walk around and yell, "What do you say, Reich?" And he was this big country guy, but anything we ever needed done at the baseball field, we just go to Country and he would take care of it. Some of you will definitely remember this person because it always looked like he was dressed to play at Wimbledon, and that's Monty. Monty had the wristbands on every day and the little mini tennis shorts, always had a, Rollins shirt on. And Monty was just like one of these guys that walk around. He just wanted to be part of it. One of the best guys ever, And then, of course, we had our trainer and one of our lunch crew as well, but Charlie Urban. You got a sore back? Take 20 laps and come back and see me. Tell me how you feel. Your elbow hurts? Go through 50 pitches. Your knee hurts? Go do this. Like, Charlie was the funniest, But another one of the lunch crew that we all just loved. Somebody mentioned this person earlier today. I think it was Gene. You have no idea what Winston Short meant to me. Winston Short was unbelievably one of the most important people in the Rollins baseball program, and I'll tell you why. When you're a head coach at Rollins and you don't have paid assistants, you're the only person there all day long. There is nobody to rely on. There's nobody to get the pulse of the players. Those things are critical. And when you're an ass like me, and you're the type of guy that's a yeller and screamer and breaking things and kicking things and always pushing, you need a teammate to give you the pulse of the players and let you know what the players are thinking. And believe it or not, that was my groundskeeper. He would come into my office and say, "Reich, the guys are really tired, man. That you beat the crap out of them this week. They've had 5 games. You might want to take it easy on them." And the guys would all come to practice and it's raining out and they expect to be running or something, and I break out wiffle ball bats and we play wiffle ball. And I give all that credit to Winston. He was one of the most incredible assets, and my biggest disappointment, regret at Rollins College is not winning or losing games, is that I was not allowed to let him come to the World Series with us. And that crushed me because he was every bit a part of that team that went to the World Series that year, and we could not bring him. They wouldn't let me bring him. And I will tell you that if I had a disappointing moment at Rollins, it wasn't a loss to Tampa or this or that. It was not being able to bring Winston to the World Series. All he lived for was you guys. That's it. He lived for the players. And quite honestly, he lived for all the student athletes. He developed this thing called Splinter City, which I'm sure was not legal. But it was like an area down the left field line where everybody drinking and partying. He'd light these barrels on fire. It was like a big festival down there every home game. And they'd scream and yell at the other teams. And I miss him. And when I came back for the 10-year reunion of our World Series team, Penny was gracious enough to give me a poster of Winston that's still in my house to this day. The funniest thing about Winston was, and since he's here, I'm going to tell it, Gene Howard was going to like some black tie social, I don't know what the hell it was, during our season. And it was April 1st, true story. So it's almost on that day, Gino. And Gene's mom just bought him a new truck. And Gene was driving to this function to pick up his girlfriend at the time, and the accelerator stuck. And I don't know if you guys remember back in the day when Toyota Tacomas had that whole recall, the accelerator sticking. So in Gene's wisdom, he needed something to stop the truck, so he drove through the first base dugout at the field. Well, the next day, I come into the stadium. Well, I don't even want to tell you what happened after that, but I get to the stadium the next morning, and in Gene's locker is the hood ornament, the Toyota hood ornament, on a blue block from the dugout in Gene's locker. And that was Winston. That's a perfect way to describe Winston. He was just one of the guys. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I'm getting near the end, so I hope I'm not boring you. Another person that I have to thank, and this one's really important to me because he stayed away from me for my first few years because I was such a young hothead. But I owe a lot to Boyd Coffey, a ton to Boyd Coffey. Baseball-wise, I would say that Boyd Coffey and Davey Johnson were two of the most important people in my career, baseball-wise, hands down. And I'll get to Davey in a minute. Boyd took me under his wing in my office. He would literally speak to me. He'd go, anybody knows Boyd, he would run 10 miles and then just come talk to you like he had just washed his car or something. Like he was a phenomenal athlete. And he would come to my office and say, you can't live pitch to pitch. You got to calm down. You got to do this. You got to do that. And the biggest thing Boyd Coffey did for me was give me credibility with his alumni. Because there was a time where I wasn't a Rollins guy, obviously, that we didn't get the support from his players. And Boyd brought them all back and let me use his name for a golf tournament. We started the Boyd Coffey Classic, and all of his players started coming back. And honestly, our recruiting started getting better. We started getting more support. But I owe Boyd a lot as a human being. Like one of the best people you'll ever meet. One of the best people you ever meet. I'm also the only coach in Rollins history, and I said this at the first pitch dinner, which is very true. I know Joe Justice, and Joe was mean to me. I loved him, and he was great to me, but he was mean. But for some reason, he hated every second baseman I put at second base, no other position. I could have a catcher that missed the ball and hit him in the face every single time. It didn't matter. It was always my second baseman, and he would criticize my second baseman every day. But I knew Boyd, I knew John Fulgham, I know Coach Sjogren. So I've met every single coach and been around every single coach in Rollins history, which is kind of neat if you think about it. The next person is Davey Johnson. Davey Johnson obviously comes to the athletic department. Phil hires him to be a fundraiser. Next thing you know, the papers go wild. Rikeman's getting fired. Davey Johnson's going to be the head baseball coach, the whole 9 yards. But Davey ended up becoming the person that helped change me as a baseball coach in front of my entire team. Remember, I'm a young kid now. He says to me, Coach, if I manage in the big leagues tomorrow, I would hire you as my bench coach. That's how confident I am in your baseball knowledge. But until you start caring more about them instead of you're never going to be a great coach. That's humbling. To do that in front of 30 baseball players and be embarrassed like that by a major league manager, right? Major league baseball player. But Davey and I became close friends. His wife, Susan, used to own this shop, Bella, downtown, really exclusive dresses, and she could never put them on sale, so she would call me up and say, hey, look, does Stacy want to wear this or this? And give my wife some dresses in a little box and say, just go out the back door. But Davey was just a tremendous mentor. I mean, to have a guy like that, he'd bring around Gaylord Perry and big leaguers, would hang out with our players, and really just an amazing person. I want to thank all my assistant coaches who have put up with my crap every year that you coach with me. Aliosi, Jim Horvath, Tom Fleener, who ended up coaching my kid in college, Kevin Scott, one of the most loyal people I've ever met in my life, full-time job, family, making $5,000 or less, and he was just with me every day. Coach Shaw, who's with Rollins today, basically worked for free and just worked his butt off with the kids. Justin Baratek, just another young guy that coached with us the year we went to the World Series. Robbie Seitz, a former player, young guy, the team we went to the World Series. Mike Reese, who's here tonight. You know, another young guy that played for me, went to the World Series that year. Quick story about those young guys and about their hot-headed coach. The year we went to the World Series, we started off the season, and we went down to play in a tournament in St. Leo. And I was pissed. 2 guys missed the bus. So I get to the field and I run everybody. We don't take pregame. We don't hit. We don't field. We don't do nothing. I just send them out in the left field line and just tell them to run until I tell you to stop. I'm at home plate with the coach from Carson Newman and all these guys, and all of a sudden, Tech and Sights, all my coaches go out to the outfield, and Toby Rice starts singing, "Who's Your Daddy?" And then another group of guys would scream, "Rikeman," and they're singing. And the coach of Carson Newman looks at me and goes, are you punishing your guys, or are they enjoying themselves out there? Like, they're screaming. And we went out, and I think we won 10-0 that game, too. Like, we crushed them. No pregame. That's why it's not about me. It was about us. It was about everybody that was out there every day. They say surround yourself with people on the same mission as you. Those guys were 23, 24-year-old kids coaching college baseball, kids just under their age. And they gave up everything for me for free. They were not paid a dime. And they did an amazing job giving themselves up for the kids on that team. And I'm really proud of all those guys, and I can't thank them enough for everything they did for me at Rollins. And they're just a great group. I think I had 3 big wins at Rollins, and you're not going to believe what they are. Ed Danowitz. Ed Danowitz hated my guts. Foul mouth, northerner, won't shut up. The last 4 years I was at Rollins, he came to every single home game and stood at the gate right at the front, and I was so proud of that moment. He hated me. I mean, yes, I have a bad mouth, okay? So I take that. But when you grow up in Massachusetts, it's just like part of the English language. I know it's not acceptable down south, but up there it kind of just happens, you know? It's not like I'm trying to be mean or anything. Pat Williams just passed away. His son Bobby played for me. I'm in 3 of his books. My first year with Bobby on my team, he wanted me fired. Bad mouth, hot head, no temper, you know, and I won him over, and I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud. I'm proud to be in 3 of his books, and I'm really sad to hear that he passed away. Tremendous man. I mean, he would just sit and talk baseball with me, but he would talk life with me more than anything. Just a tremendous person. The next person is Danny O'Dowd, Rollins alum. He was the general manager of the Rockies, one of Boyd's boys. I was never more proud. I own a travel baseball organization now called the Scorpions. You know, Matt Gerber is involved in that, and Phil's waving me on. I'm almost done. I literally have just family after this, and I'm done, I promise. But Danny O'Dowd's son played for me. He wanted his son to play for us, and I was really proud of that, and I've become close with Danny. The last 2 are family, and the first family is the Rice family. I don't know if you know this, but in 2010, I was in hot seat. South Carolina guy came in, told me he wasn't going to renew my contract. I have no job. I'm applying for minor league jobs. I'm applying for jobs at UT Tyler. I'm doing anything I can to stay in baseball. And Toby Rice calls me up and says, "Hey, why don't you come work in the oil field with me?" And I'm like, I know nothing about the oil field. And he's like, "What? Well, you know, can you drive bulldozers and drink moonshine with landowners?" And I'm like, yeah, I guess I could do that. And 7 years later, the Rice family sold that business for $7.8 billion. And again, what did I say in the beginning? This is about relationships. You hear these athletes today talk about their coaches and their families and their friends and how important it is. I don't care what you major in. I don't care what you do. It's who you are with, who you associate with, and the people around you that make you who you are. And I knew nothing about oil and gas. Nothing. Zero. I knew how to put gas in my car. And, you know, for 7 years, I helped Toby and his family. But there, you know, a lot of them are here tonight. Derek Rice, Eileen Rice is here, who's actually her brother played for that World Series team as well. Danny Rice, who's not here, Toby's, you know, older brother. Ryan Rice, the youngest brother, right here, is one of my boys in the oil field. We'd sleep in, you know, our cars together for 30 days at a time. Dan Rice and Kathleen are here tonight. I mean, they're family to me now. I mean, permanent family. I mean, they took care of me and my family. I will never forget it. And again, and I don't want to hurt Toby's feelings, a walk-on from Massachusetts gave me that opportunity. Not a scholarship athlete, a walk-on. And that's Rollins College. Lastly, I want to thank my real family. My wife, Stacy, who's here today, She has put up with more crap being married to a guy like me for 30 years. You're going to get fired tomorrow. You're going to get fired tomorrow. Phil's pissed off at you. I heard this. I heard that. You know, it's very difficult being a coach's wife, but it's also very difficult being my wife. We got married in Knowles Chapel 30 years ago today, and she has been an extreme rock for this family. She, used to bring our kids to the games, drag them on both arms. I'm telling you, there's nobody better. And she's an amazing, supportive person. I pick up my family and move to Pennsylvania. She stays home and sells the house, then comes up and lives in the snow. She's from Florida, and she's just a tremendous person. Thank you for everything you've done for me. I'd like to introduce my daughter, Savannah. Savannah's a president of a sorority at Rollins College. Now she's 25 years old and helps run my business with Janet over here. She's also coaching volleyball for the Winter Park Volleyball Club, so she's an athlete as well. I got my son Brooks right here, who did not go to Rollins College. He went to JU. And Brooksy is now the assistant baseball coach at Embry-Riddle. So he's following after his dad, hopefully a lot better than his dad. But, he's a much better personality than me. And lastly, I'd like to, not least, I'd like to thank my mother-in-law, Suzanne, and my brother-in-law, Danny, who are here supporting me tonight. Always been at every baseball game. They've just always been great. And other than that, I hope I didn't take too long. Thank you all so much. Congratulations to everybody, and thank you so much.
And please welcome back to the stage for closing remarks, Miss Penny Parker.
All right, so this does conclude our program for this evening. To our inductees, you all know that you truly represent the best of the best. And we are excited to welcome you to the Rollins Hall of Fame as our newest members. But before we finish, I would like for everybody that has already been inducted into the Hall of Fame to please stand and be recognized. Come on. And in closing, I would also like to thank Josh and his team from Simple Thought Productions for streaming tonight's ceremony for those who could not be here. Also, a huge thank you to Jessica Dees for always putting this together and making it such a special evening, and for Phil Chinnery for developing our program this evening. Again, thank you for attending tonight. I hope you have a wonderful alumni weekend, and go Tars.